Hello and welcome to Monson Made This. My name is Michael. This is the 7th video in my week of whole food plant-based recipes, and I'm very excited because it has been a long week. Today I'm making a recipe that I came up with because I wanted a way to kind of use a lot of the leftovers or odds and ends of things that I had. So I've developed this recipe, which is sort of like a frittata meets this Japanese dish called okonomiyaki, which is a vegetable pancake made with chickpea flour. It's so good. It's gonna have this really delicious tangy tahini drizzle. So great. So let me go through the ingredients and how they fit my grain, a bean, a veggie, a green, and a seed. And then we'll make the matrix mixture, which is with chickpea flour, and then we'll head back to the stove and cook things up. So my grain today is going to be this black rice. This is left over. It does seem a little bit like I'm shoehorning a grain into this dish, and that is true. It doesn't necessarily need this, but I have it on hand, so I'm gonna be using it. My bean is going to be this chickpea flour, which mixed with water is gonna create a really nice kind of like egg style mixture, which is going to hold everything together. My veggie is going to be, well, I've got quite a few veggies here. I've got some broccoli, but I've also got some carrots and some corn. My green, I'm going to call the Napa cabbage my green. And then my seed, I don't have it here in front of me, but it's going to be tahini. And like I said, it's going to be this really delicious tangy tahini drizzle. So let me start mixing together my chickpea flour matrix mixture, and then we'll head back to the stove and cook things up. In this jar, I have about 3/4 of a cup of chickpea flour. Full measurements will all be on monsonmadethis.com. To this, I'm adding some nutritional yeast. And if this looks like my egg sandwich recipe, it's very similar to that. I have a chickpea flour egg recipe already on the channel. This is a bit of baking powder that's gonna give just a little bit of lift. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. And that is to taste, which I need to caution you now, chickpea flour in its raw form is not tasty, so I don't recommend tasting the raw chickpea mixture. It's not gonna taste good at all. But you could always season this on the other end if it's not seasoned enough. I'm gonna add just a pinch of red pepper flake because I like a little bit of spice. And finally, I'm adding water. You could use broth as well. And this is an equal amount to the chickpea flour. And I'm making this in a jar so I can put this lid on and shake it up. Ideally, you want to let this set maybe 5-10 minutes before you actually start to assemble your frittata okonomiyaki, just so that the chickpea flour can hydrate a little bit. But that's it, it's done. So this is gonna hang out. I'm gonna start cooking up these vegetables in the pan. It's all gonna be happening in one pan. It'll grill for a minute, and then it'll go in the oven for maybe 5 minutes. Super, super easy. I have a pan here. This is a cast iron pan, which is oven safe. It is preheating to medium heat. I did add just a little bit of sesame oil. This is just my insurance against anything sticking. If you want to make it 100% oil free, then definitely you want to make sure to use a non-stick pan or a pan that you can trust won't stick, and make sure it's also oven safe, which the oven is now preheating to 375 as well. So as soon as this comes up to temp, which this is pretty much there, I'm going to add all of my veggies. So Napa cabbage is gonna go in, broccoli is gonna go in, some carrot, which I just kind of julienne sliced, and then some green onion. If you're not a fan of green onion, you could leave it out. I do think the green onion really makes this dish. And then, as I said, this grain is just some leftover black rice. The goal here is just to lightly saute, I'll use it all. Lightly saute everything, get things softened down, moving around, maybe wilt the Napa cabbage a bit. We don't want this to be fully cooked. We're not really looking for any brown either, just kind of softening things. It will cook in the oven slightly, but also we do want quite a bit of texture still in the veggies, just for the mouthfeel of the dish. We don't want it just to be all soft, kind of mushy. So this will maybe go 2-3 minutes. Again, it'll break down a little bit, soften a little bit, and then we will add our chickpea flour mixture. So things have wilted down a little bit. The colors seem to have turned up a little bit. I'm gonna add a bit of frozen corn, and I'm adding this at the very end because I treat frozen veggies like already cooked veggies, so I don't really need them to cook anymore, maybe just slightly warm through. And then I'm going to put this in a nice even layer, making sure that my ingredients are nicely distributed. And then I'm going to add my chickpea egg mixture. And I want to get this covering everything, and then I'm going to zhuzh it around a little bit so that I can make sure to get this on the bottom. Actually, let me open this up so I make sure to get everything out. Alright, and just kind of make sure again that it gets everywhere. I'm going to shake the pan as well. It's not going to be completely... you still want it to be very vegetable heavy, so it'll still be mostly vegetables. The reason I call this a matrix is because the chickpea batter just kind of holds everything together. All right, I think this will work. So now I'm going to put it into my preheated oven and let it bake until everything has cooked. It'll take maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I want it to be maybe lightly golden brown, but just not wet at all anywhere, not mushy. So I'm gonna probably touch the center and it'll feel done or not, if that makes any sense. All right, let's go into the oven. While that's baking in the oven, I'm going to make my tangy tahini drizzle. So I'm going to take some tahini, it's about 2 tablespoons. To that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. And then 1 tablespoon of Bragg's liquid aminos. Again, it wouldn't be a Monson made this video without Bragg's liquid aminos. Make sure I get everything out of this spoon. And that's it to this drizzle sauce. Actually, no, there's water in it also. I'm just going to mix this together. I have a little whisk. Whisk it together. And then if it's too thick, I will thin it out with a bit of water. Just add a little bit. So this is nice. It just takes away some of the richness. It doesn't take away, but it just, a little bit of acidity is nice to brighten up the dish. I'm also going to be topping it with some more green onions, probably some chili paste or some chili sauce, and these are leftover pickled radishes. I added a little bit of green onion in there as well, so I'll add some like pickly things on top. Again, just a little bit of acidity brings the dish up. All right, that's it. Now we just wait for that to come out of the oven. It's been about 10-ish minutes, and this is ready to come out, and I'm just touching the center, making sure that it's not squishy at all. I wasn't very articulate about what I meant before I put it in, but I just want to make sure that it's firm. It kind of has like a cornbread consistency, and I want to make sure that this will release, so I just have a spatula, and I'm going to kind of go around and just make sure that when I go to invert it, it will actually come out. It could split, it could break all apart, it's still going to taste great. This is, again, a way to use up leftovers, whatever you have on hand, so the ratios are always going to be slightly different, but it's going to taste good, I promise. All right, looks like it's released. Now I'm going to attempt to invert it. I'm going to take this plate, put it on top here, and then with my hot pad, okay, this isn't going well. Live TV, am I right? Okay, you know what? I thought this black plate was going to be pretty, so that's why I chose it. It's like just like a millimeter too small, whatever. All right, let's just go for it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Not terrible. So you can see all of the ingredients we put in there. The black rice is quite prominent, and you know what? This plate was the perfect size. So let me clean things up a little bit, then we'll drizzle it, put toppings on it, and I will give this a taste. I'm honestly so excited about this. This idea just came to me as a way to use leftovers or things that I had in the fridge and just putting them all together. And if you've ever seen a picture or if you've ever had okonomiyaki, you'll know that it's covered normally in like a sweet mayo and chili sauces and all sorts of things. And I think I really did a good job of kind of nailing that aesthetic. Last thing to do is give it a taste, see how it is. Everything is nicely held together with that chickpea batter. This is a huge bite. Here we go. It's not really eggy. It's a little bit more bready, but it's got so much flavor, so much texture, so much going on, like a nice richness, especially from the tahini sauce, but then also brightness from that, and from the pickled things that we added, tons of green onion, which is amazing. This thing is so good, a great way to use up what you have on hand. So give this a go. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you have not yet already. Thanks to those of you that are subscribers or channel members. If you want to become a channel member, you can click join down below, or you can click the link to Patreon if you want to do that as well. I'll be eating this in a Monsonmadethis video, so if you want to check those out, you do need to be a member or a patron. So I will see you over there in just a moment. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.